Hey everybody, it's Mini Moves Cards again. Nice to see you guys back here at the channel. This video obviously showing that we did it again with a different color pairing this time. So I look forward to giving you guys this deck profile and hoping you guys can use this for your store championships or take it in consideration for the future. Let's hop right into it. Alrighty, going to the next deck profile, I am going to kind of separate things with just like core engine pieces as well as things that I teched for the day, which I think are worth talking about. As some of you guys may know, blue-purple has been a very popular deck through the set champ season just because the format's been very mid-range heavy. So just accumulating chunks of value where you can, but still maintaining board and just questing like fairly aggressively when the opportunity fulfills itself. Of course, I talked about in the last video, this is one of my favorite color combos since a couple sets prior. So I was really excited to jump onto playing this deck for a store championship, seeing what I could do with it again. And glad to say that we came out successful. Let's go a little bit into the deck, and I'm going to try not to take too much of your guys' time this time around. Because, I spent like 24 minutes on the last deck video. But yeah, so let's get into it. First things first is, of course, we're on For Sale, the Azurite Sea. Very common, very standard, as well as for Tipo. You always want this as your turn 2-drop. You almost never ever not want to see it. Only scenario I could ever see myself not wanting this is maybe against a discard matchup, but even then we want to be able to develop our bombs as quick as we can without giving up too much card advantage and then getting discarded out. Next, we're on For Popsicle and For Bell. This is optional, but I felt like this was very important because this deck has a very hard time against steel matchups, specifically Amber Steel, because they go really wide. So when you're on the draw against them, you want to follow up with this as often as you can, just so that you have something that can test the board early so that they can't run away the game with all their singers. As well as we are playing some more tech cards to go with this in mind. At the worst, if you don't see all the pieces together, you just ink them. But otherwise, it's just make your follow-up turns really strong, just being able to develop another body and questing aggressively. Of course, we're on 3 Friends. It's Pot of Greed. Draw 2 cards. Everyone likes drawing cards. We're on 4 Fox because, again, it's just one of the better responses to clear stuff out, especially against those early game matchups. And we like recycling our Gastons, our Genies, and our Hades when we get to it. We're on 4 Goat. This is pretty typical, but I was testing without it. It never felt like it won me the game. I never needed it in like dire scenarios, but I do think it is a very good card that helps bridge the gaps between when you're not really doing much, but you still want to apply pressure. And it trades pretty decently into some of the more aggressive decks, just being a bigger body that doesn't get hit by, easy removals like Brawls and Sisus and all that goodness. This card, super duper important. It's terrible into your steel matchup, but it's great everything else with anything that's purple because this body just sticks and gets you lore and just outs multiple bodies more often than not. So very glad I maxed out on this, just being a consistent turn 3 play I could do when I have my Tipos and my sales going together. I actually bought this one from a starter deck, because I bought the starter deck and then, cracked it for the one. Josie, another shout out to him again in another video, lending me these 3 cards because I didn't have any, because I forgot this was a rare. And I very much needed it. For Genie, I'm more of a rabbit guy myself, but with the amount of evasives that are in the format, For Genie was just a better pick because we don't really need infinite value. We just need enough to close out the game. We got 4 Elsa, pretty obligatory. The 5-drops in this deck are very few. I feel like it's one of the weaker points of the deck. After you've ramped and you developed your 4s, your 5 looks pretty slow. So you're just kind of hoping for another 4-drop. But if you can ideally curve out your Elsas, she helps you clear a lot of boards and keep things free so you can maintain your lead. Of course, this is also optional, but I like it a lot. It's another pet favorite card of mine. So it's 4 Gastons. A lot of people trim down to 3 of them. You can opt to not play any of them, but I do like the card selection. I think this deck has a lot of draw power that having the card selection and an aggressive body on top of this is just really important. So I wouldn't personally cut it on top of my biases, but it's something that you can always look at. And then, of course, the obligatory 4 Hades. It's an efficient body. It trades into stuff really well. You can bounce it to reuse it, and it just puts stuff in the inkwell so it can never be used again. So, if you're not playing this, I don't blame you, but it's something I would definitely need good justification for. Going into some of my tech cards for the day, this deck is super flexible. So since it's super flexible and I'm actually only playing 12 uninkables in the deck, you can get away with a lot. Of course, I prefer to have my tech cards be inkable so that if I don't have the ability to use them, I can just get rid of them. But regardless, I think these cards do show their worth, and they definitely did today. So some of the Spicer stuff that you're going to see right now, I'm playing 2 Dolores Madrigal. This deck has a lot of 4-drops already with the 4 Iagos, 4 Genies. But I wanted this one on top of it because I felt like into those aggressive matchups, they're often not questing or singing with their bodies anyway. So when you're going ramping with Tipo and Sail on turn 2, turn 3, instead of having your Genie get shot down by something and not be able to trade with the board because 3 health is pretty common, I liked having Dolores as an option that was also inkable. So her nearest comparison is that of Grandma Tala, which lets you look at 2 pick 1, which being able to select cards in this deck is great. But I wanted the additional lore that she provides, questing for 2 rather than 1, just because it adds some more pressure. And it's just a nice consistency piece. It turns my deck, I think it was like 14 cards in the deck to say draw a card. Just having my 3/3 bodies was phenomenal. I'm happy I had it, and it came up when it needed to. Dug me deeper. My other spicy tech card was a Hypnotic Strength, 2 copies. This card I found really good because it made it to where my evasives like Elsa and Genie trade into other Genies pretty efficiently, as well as helps like Elsa clear another Gaston, giving it Challenger +2. And I like the fact that it cycled me another card. And of course it's inkable. The other upside is that you can use it to target their Iagos, which you don't see a whole lot of, being able to use these like almost like battle tricks to then clear out their stuff with their Iagos, because more often than not, when people target Iago with stuff, they're targeting it with things that would already remove stuff. So I really like this flexibility. It catches a lot of people off guard, and it also helps some of our lower powered stuff, like our 4s go into 6 health bodies, like Robin Hood's as an example. So that was really neat, as well as our Algos trading into Maui Sharks if it's exerted. But yeah, phenomenal card. Other 2 ofs, 2 Cogsworth. There's a lot of, again, tech cards for this deck, because if you want to lean more towards a steel meta or a purple meta, I like Cogsworth because it makes steel and purple variants very awkward to go with. Steel, of course, not being able to deal as much damage as they usually do with their Strengths, their Storms, and their Zeuses. This messes up their math a lot, especially for, when they have to try to Hades hit something, or shoot the Hades rather, because, the 5 damage doesn't even clear it. So at that point now, they can't even use Zeus plus Storm. They have to have a very large Strength of the Raging Fire, or a combination of Strength plus Zeus. So I appreciated that a lot. The ward is also super annoying for a lot of people. And, I mean, it's another 5-drop that you can play on 5 and feel pretty good about it, helping your board trade with everything else, especially trading with the other evasives that are in the format. The other 2 is to Let It Go. I find that this mid-range kind of format is all about tempo swings and getting huge advantage off of just being able to clear your opponent's stuff at the best time possible. So I wanted to have some amount of these in the deck list, of which one I just chose 2. Because, I mean, a lot of your bodies are pretty beefy and big, and sometimes Elsa doesn't trade for anything else after the initial go-around, so having the ability to use her to sing is really important. And then 2 Finders Keepers. This deck can run out of cards, unfortunately. Not a huge fan of that portion as much, but I mean, having this as an option, so as one of your 5-drops, as well as just digging deeper into the game when you need to basically outvalue somebody once you grind out your resources, really, really good. And then lastly, 2 Bell. I am going to be 100% honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of this card, but it does show its worth being a shiftable 3. So, if you go turn 1 or turn 2, 3-drop Bell after popping a Popsicle, turning into a 2-quester is really nice, and having a 4/4 body is really strong, because it's just like Gaston, just 1 less lore. And it did come up against blue-red being able to shift damage from a Tamatoa onto a Maui Shark, and then, I think it was a Maui Shark, either a Maui Shark or a Maui Rush, and just do its thing. Yeah, you'll notice that, a lot of my tech cards I all play 2 of, because I believe that since this deck has so much card draw, and Gaston has that card selection, with proper mulliganing, and keeping matchups in mind, you will more than often not find these in some capacity, at least one of your 3 games, assuming you make it to a best of 3 and don't get 2-0 swept. I liked it a lot. You can change this amount as much as you'd like. If you feel like, you're facing more control meta games, you can go for 3 Finders Keepers. If you like Bell more, then you can go for multiple Bells. If you don't like the Let It Goes at all and you feel like you have a lot of green in your metagame, so they might want to discard it, you can adjust that too. And yeah, all that goodness. Another thing too is I'm not playing Merlin Crab, if you've noticed. I didn't value the body that it is as a 3/3, but that only quests for 1. And we only play Fox to bounce it, so I didn't feel like the threshold was really necessary. That's why I prefer the strength a little bit more with that utility, as well as I just don't think locations are very strong right now. It's hard to justify them, so the only reason for me to play Crab would to be in conservative locations. But yeah, that was the deck list. I'm going to go into the pack opening right about now, and then I'll just talk about the day like I did in the last video. We split the top 4, so everyone got 10 packs. It was a smaller turnout today, so I didn't have to play the whole top 8, which, thank goodness we got to leave on a good time, as well as get some good food. I had me, Josie, and Peter all go down to a Tamari Cafe down in Rockville, since we were playing at Dream Wizards, our local game store. Round 1, I played against Jay. He was on blue-red, the typical blue-red list with just sharks and manners and control tools and all that goodness. That matchup was a 2-1 my favor. He played great. He had some unfortunate turns where he didn't find turn 2 ramp, but he was still able to stabilize back into some later mid-game ramp. But I was just able to quest it out and catch the game. Round 2, I played against green-purple, my friend Danny. And my golly, he was playing green-purple, which I didn't really speculate for or test for. So I was kind of seeing cards as they came, with just like previous experience. I need another copy of this. And look, another hero for all the heroes that were given out today. With that in mind, game 1 he surprised me, and I'll be honest, he took the match off of me. We played. It did go to game 3, but game 1 he played Vision Slab, and if you're not familiar with Vision Slab, it is a item that's 3 cost inkable, and it says damage can't be removed, and if your opponent has a damaged character, you gain 1 lore at the start of your turn, and that was detrimental because in that mid-game section where I was trying to stabilize, he just kept gaining 1 lore and then putting up bodies to the point where I just couldn't beat the clock. Even doing some cheeky stuff like let it going my own damage character just so he couldn't have the additional 1 the following turn. Oh, I need another copy of this. Cooking a red-green deck in the works. But yeah, so that was rough. Didn't expect I'd be losing to green-purple. But hey, stuff happens, and tech cards, when they do their thing, they do their thing. So we're going in round 3. Mind you, it was a 4-round twist. Round 3, I play against my friend Christian, who was on purple-yellow, and he'd been on it for a hot minute, and I was in support of him playing the deck this whole go-around. It's not your typical hyper-aggro yellow-purple, so it had a lot of control tools similar to what a blue-purple deck would play like. We played some good games. Unfortunately, he bricked on some of his uninkables game 1, which was rough. But it's okay, because he ended up going a lot farther, which, going deeper into this, I won that matchup, I think it was 2-0. Going into round 4, I was going to play against my friend Peter, who's on Amber Steel. What made the most sense since we were cut off the top 4 is we ID'd. But we did play 2 test games, and I'm not going to lie to you, he steamrolled me both of the test games. When my friend Joey was telling me about how bad the Sapphire Amethyst matchup versus Amber Steel is, he was not lying. So he steamrolls me there. We go into top 4, of which point I actually do match up against him as my top 4 opponent. And it ends up luckily rolling in my favor with me winning the die roll, as well as game 1, I was able to establish double Cogsworth, and he wasn't able to rush me down quick enough, at which point I swung out with a huge turn of questing for 9 with the Gastons, the double Cogsworth, and the other miscellaneous things on board, and then ending the game the turn after. While still maintaining board, so he couldn't quest and kill me with any silly shift Robin Hoods on tiny ones and all that goodness. So I was thankful for that, and then game 2 he ended up not finding a wheel, and even then that game was still pretty close. But I'm happy I dodged that matchup, and I was able to take that one out. And then the finals was a rematch between me and my friend Christian, him and his purple yellow deck. And I was excited, I was pumped, and he took it to a game 3. Game 2, he just established a bunch of genies and Elsas, and was able to quest and gain lore. So I was shocked. The deck has a kind of a hard time against blue purple, but if it gets the ball rolling and chaining extra Rapunzels, those bodies just quest for 2, like my genies and everything else. So it was definitely something not to look down upon. But overall, I didn't get to play against any red purple, which I think this deck is fairly good against anyway. You just have to again outquest them and make sure you're not playing into their sharks, because typically you'll generate more value quicker, at least lore wise, and consistently playing to the board. I would definitely consider this deck if you're a fan of kind of playing on curve and having to micromanage decision points of utilizing and recycling the same cards. I didn't have none of these, and I think I needed more basils. I unfortunately didn't get to put together a blue steel list that I was comfortable with, as well as I lent my friend Melvin my amber steel deck, so I couldn't use any of my steel cards. So it was more of a reason to play blue purple and give the deck a shot, since I've missed it for a while. If I do end up going to some more store championships next week, I'll definitely report to see what I played and how I did and all that goodness, assuming that I do go to one, and even if I lose, I'll still be a good time. Another Mushu and another Queen. I needed both of these cards. This makes my 3rd Mushu, this makes my 2nd Queen. This has also been a tech card in some purple variants, being able to get some free lore, and getting rid of Maui's actions that he wants to add back. Our top 4 was in fact 1 green steel, 1 amber steel, me on blue purple, and 1 purple yellow. So that was a fun time. I like having a mixed bag of things in the top cut. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about the deck and the performance, but if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to DM me on Discord or comment in the comment section, because I'll always answer any stuff there. Oh, by the way, I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched the last deck profile. I appreciate all the kind words and the congratulations for succeeding with something a little bit more to my own. Hopefully I can keep up the Lorcana and maybe even push out more and more content. And throw me some suggestions, you guys, if you want to see something in particular. I'd be more than happy to try to work around and give you guys an informative video about my perception, my opinion, my thoughts on certain decks, colors, ways of play, and all that goodness. I need another Conti, by the way. I just didn't want to cut my own tangent off. I have a video in mind for the Worlds format, assuming some information gets announced and it fits in my favor. Of course, I'm not going to Worlds, but the idea that I've been hearing about is a lot of fun, so I hope to give you guys that knowledge. Pete's, so much to give. Edgar, this is my family. Baymax, the charging station. Bolt, Yokai, I need another one of this, unironically. Commons, right? Ink, another Ink Geyser, another Raya, and a training staff. We got 1 legendary, which, out of 10 packs is a little low, but that's okay. But, regardless, hopefully this video wasn't too long. I didn't yap too much, but I'll find out in post-production. I hope you guys have, again, a good rest of your store championship season. I hope you guys look at my deck list, listen to the words I had to say, and take it into account when going into your locals. But, again, hope you guys have fun. Enjoy your Mother's Day weekend, and peace and love.